What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all doing well. We finally have an installation that I've been waiting to do for so long. A company, C4, if you don't know them, finally came out with products, or finally came out with fender liners that can now go up here if you've had a fender trim. So what I got a fender trim. Typically they're about down here. They're cut up to there. You can watch my other videos and see, what my truck looked like before and then how it looks now. But these new high clearance fender liners, you can find them on the Tacoma Beast website. You can find them on C4 and other off-road company websites. They're the C4 high clearance fender liners. You can get them by themselves or even with a DRT, or no, they're C4 cab mount relocation kit. You can get that as a whole kit as well to save a little bit of money. But they're gonna go basically run along up here and then bolt into some existing areas, and be a little bit of drilling, but nothing that I've heard is too bad. And then with the fender liners being gone, all that is exposed. You can see how it's all dirty up there. It looks all gross. So I got to clean all that real quick before I start this installation, and then we'll get into it. And I haven't seen anybody else do this, but these are aluminum. They came like, that brushed aluminum type look. However, I took them to a company and they got powder coated. So these are black, light texture on them. I don't know if you can really tell, but they look really nice. All the mounting brackets are powder coated as well. This is something, I think it's a little extra, because if they stay the regular color or the irregular aluminum, rocks are going to hit them, chip and whatnot. So I don't know how long the black is going to last, but either way, I think it's going to look good for the time being. So I'll show you guys just what they're going to look like. It's going to look something like that. Man, I'm sorry, I'm facing the sun, but let's see if I can get under here. It's going to look like that running along there. I'm not sure if I need to remove my jerry-rigged air intake protector, but if I do, that's completely fine. However, it looks like they might clear it, because that's going to go there. It might clear. I might be able to leave it. So we'll start with these two main liners. You've got a bunch of bolts, nuts, washers, the spacer, one spacer for whatever reason. But we're going to start with just little emblems. So you've got the C4 logo on there, and the easiest way to find which bolts and nuts for these and washer, they're just the smallest ones in the package. So you got four nuts, 4 bolts, and 4 washers. And those obviously gonna go right there. So I'll put these on real quick and then we'll go from there. And it's gonna be a size 10 and a 1/8 for the outside. Now that I got the emblem on there on both of them, I've got this this weather stripping, pretty long piece. We're gonna put it along the edge that will be going against the fenders. I believe it's against the fenders. Yeah, because the way that this would sit would go against the fender, and that's just to keep out hopefully any water, debris, and whatnot. Only thing is you're gonna have to cut it, and there's this piece of metal kind of running through it to keep it nice and tight. So we'll have to cut through that, and then shape it right along here, and then cut another piece to run along the whole edge. We got one side done, comes all the way through here, didn't cut any of this. And then once we got to the end, cut it once, and then a second piece to run it along here, and just used a hammer to make sure it was all hit all the way down. So I did the other one, got the trim on. There's a little bit left over, and that's because you have these 2 other pieces right here. I'm just trying to figure out which way they go to connect. So do they go that way, or is it this way to where I guess it'd be facing backwards, if that makes sense? See how the lip is backwards, but if it's facing this way, then the lip would kind of run along the inside of the truck. I was watching a video and it looks like that notch is facing the ground like that, which means that the lip would be facing upwards into the truck rather than running along the fender with that little notch upwards. So just got to figure that out, and then I'll show you guys what it's supposed to be. I'm holding the driver's side one right now, so that weather stripping is gonna be facing the fender, and you have that bracket right there, which will secure to I believe it's this one. So that's gonna be the easiest way to know how to line them up. I'm pretty positive, yeah. So right in the center, you've got that groove and the opening there. I just did the driver's side. I wanted to get this side done, and then I'll show you the passenger side, how everything's done step by step. It looks really good. A little bit of a glare from the sun, but see emblem, nice and snug all the way around there. Way up through here. Really impressed. Then what I'm gonna do is I'll mask, I should have spray painted it before, but I'll just mask this stuff off and spray paint it gloss black all through here just to give it some, you know, touch it up a little bit how it used to be. But yeah, really impressed. And you can't see what it looks like from right here. You can see it from that angle, but not up top or anything like that. So we're on the passenger side. We're gonna need this top bolt to come out a little bit, and we're gonna fully remove this top one, which holds the fender in place. We've got these brackets. This one's labeled, or these both are gonna be labeled passenger side. And it's gonna go in with this slant facing downward. So this top one will go there, slant facing downward. And then the other bracket with a P on it is gonna go down here and just slide right back into there. We don't have to remove the bolt fully. So once it's slid in there, we'll secure it and then adjust how high we need it according to the holes that are on the fender liner. All right, so this bottom bracket, the one that just slides in, like, might tighten it a little bit. Well, it slides in, you push it all the way, make sure it's all the way back, and then you've got the washer from the bolt that's under that right there, and you can rest it right against that, and that's basically gonna be your mounting point. You can secure it. I won't secure it fully tightened yet, that way you can get everything lined up first. And this one up here, same thing. Make sure that slant is facing downward, and that one's not fully tightened either, or fully tightened either. On the driver's side, this one was kind of the hard part to get lined up with the bolt up top up here. So along here is your pinch weld. If you have that sticking out still, you've got to cut it back. You have to cut it back and knock it all the way flush against the wheel well. So right now when I try to put the fender liner in, I was catching on this area, this little piece right there. So I'll just hit that back and that should be okay. I'll just knock that back through there. And you want this as flush as it can be because these fender liners have this weather stripping that's pretty thick. So trying to get this lined up is a little difficult. So it'll be like that, and you can see right here I'm rubbing or it's catching onto that piece. So that's in. And then we'll basically just line up the bolts on these two first, and then we'll get those secured down. So the bottom here, you want this piece as far down against the fender as it can go. That way everything's easier to line up. It's a little difficult. So I try to push it down as far as I can, and then you start pushing it in from there. It makes it difficult because the weather stripping is so thick that it gets snagged against there. So that bolt, it looks like it's actually lined up right now. Let me oh yeah, so that's basically lined up on the bottom now. Let's check. So I still got to go a bit lower, and what I'll do is when my help gets back, this, where we go, this area, I'll have him pull that against the truck, you know, this way, and that'll line up this second bolt. So we got that one lined up there. We just need to get that bolt lined up, which the stud hole is like right there where we need to get it to. Okay, I got the two nuts secured, got that secured, that one, and then again it's the screw, locking nut, and then washer on there. And what helps is if you have two people, one person basically pull against here and it'll line it up even better. Then you just start securing them in, and then we'll work on the bracket that goes here, and there's a bolt that's got to go back here in that bracket that's attached to the fender. L-shaped bracket, that one's going to go up here. You've got the existing hole there, and then you got this one here that'll secure and For the top, it's the same locking nut and washer that goes on these two, but on the bottom one, it's a bigger hole. So you've got this bigger size that would go on the bottom one. And we'll first just secure it to up here and not worry about the bottom part, because we may have to adjust it for this bolt back here. So just get this one on, and that's already going to line up to that hole for the most part. And then back here we got the bracket, which I'll show you in a minute. And that, so both brackets, or both fender liners, have a bracket behind them which secures to the actual wheel well of the truck. For the passenger side, you're going to use this one. It's a little bit smaller. Unfortunately, I already secured the driver's side, so I can't show you. It's a different bolt than this one. It's bigger, but this one is going to secure into here. And if I go down, there's a bolt, there's a hole. Where's it at? Right there. It's going to go into that hole there. We'll secure it with a locking nut on the other side. So this bolt right there on this was extremely easy to secure right here on this side. Now on the driver's side, it was extremely difficult and took me way longer than it should have. So it's right there, which I've got very little, no room to really get my hand down there to secure it. And then the actual bolt is about the same size as a hole, so you have to line it up perfectly in order to get it through there, but you have, you know, like that much room to really work with up inside. So super difficult on the driver's side, really easy on the passenger side. And then all we got to do now is get this bracket here just like that, and it'll secure right on the inside up there like that. All right, so with the big fender piece secured, and then that bracket has 2 bolts on it right now, we're gonna move on to this last piece, which the bracket's gonna be facing downward because it gets secured right there. So we're gonna drill 2 holes into there, and that's where that's gonna get secured, and you'll have the bigger bolts right there. So that's secured up here now, and then as you can see, that part lines up just about perfect. And you can push it up just like that. And then they recommend getting some clamps to leave it in place. So we'll drill 2 holes and then add 2 more bolts, and we will be done. So this is what I did. You don't have to do it because, well, if you don't have yours powder coated, then I wouldn't recommend doing this. It doesn't really, I guess it don't really matter, but because mine are powder coated, I put a microfiber in between the clamp and the actual mounting bracket right there. Just that way it doesn't chip anything. And then I just sprayed all this down in here and gave it a nice little scrub. That way I can get it prepped for actual spray painting, clean all this stuff up and get all this shiny again, and then we'll be done. So I'm gonna drill the 2 holes in here real quick, 3/8 drill bit for that. And once you got both holes drilled out, get your 2 bolts. And it's easy for me because I have my front fenders are trimmed for my front bumper, so I can easily reach through right here and put the bolts on. If you don't have this, then you're gonna have to reach up pretty far down, pretty far underneath. What I mean by that is these fender caps are trimmed. And that's it. Those 2 are secured, and it is all fitting nice and well. The thick weather stripping is nice and snug against the fender. I'm very impressed at how these came out. Yep, it's all nice and flush up through there. So when it says that there's gonna be drilling may be required, it's basically just those 2 right there, because all these are already pre-existing holes. Well, pre-existing hole, and then remove and reinsert, and then you don't even have to loosen it or take this one completely off the bracket behind there. So yeah, super nice. Like I said, I'll get all this touched up under here and it'll look even better. Let's go check out the driver's side. And I already have masking tape because I'm gonna be painting all that. Looks good. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to let me know. Here is the final product. I got everything spray painted under there. A little bit of a glare, but it looks really good. All that's fresh new coat of spray paint. Let's go on this side. Maybe there won't be so much of a glare on this side. Oh well, you guys get the point. Not a bad installation, pretty easy. I thought it was gonna be a lot more drilling, but overall, if you're not usually used to doing your own installations, you could get by with doing this once you get that fender trim and all that. They do have a kit in that package where you can actually do your own fender trim. So it comes with an outline and you kind of just follow along that outline to cut your fenders exactly. My fenders aren't cut exact to this specific fender liners because I got these done by a different company. So yeah, looks good. And I also put on some graphene tire shine from Adams Polishes. Looks super nice. The truck was due for a wash. Look at that gloss. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I'm slowly starting to learn to do the clear coating or PPF. So I'm gonna do my mirror caps first coming up. And then I gotta kind of just protect this whole truck because I'm pretty careless when it comes to off-roading and hitting branches and all that. So, I mean, if you can see here, clutch on my dirt bike fell over, chipped off that edge right after I got this whole bedside repaired and painted. I think like the day after I went off-roading, and I don't know if you can tell, but oh, there you go. Pretty deep scratches all the way along here that I've waxed over several times. So it would be nice to just get a good PPF on there and just protect all that, especially the hood. And you know, I've heard that Toyota's paint isn't the greatest in terms of longevity, and I can already feel that it's pretty rough considering how many times I've waxed this truck and how much effort I put into it. So we'll see. I'm slowly starting to learn that, and then I'll probably do an installation on me doing the mirror caps, but we'll see. And again, any questions, let me know. Oh, Tacoma Beast, I am sponsored by them now. Use code TACOMAN5. Don't type out 5, just the number 5, and you can save a little bit of money. See you on the next video. Take care.